out of the video game
Out of the video
selection.
games.
Let me slide into the tech for the
Slide into
which we'll
the tech.
check.
Mm-mm-mm-mm. You know what I forgot on the notes? I forgot to give you the person that leaked the information.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Give me 1 second. I'll grab their Twitter handle because they are so Evan Blass, EV Leaks is who dropped those, and they're pretty infamous for getting a lot of Samsung links and getting those pretty right on the nail. So
Nice.
if you go to I will drop a link to them in the
Make sure you
chat.
type. Make sure you type something along with it, because if you drop just a link in a stream chat, Facebook will be like, "Yo, this is spam," and Twitch might do the same thing. But
Uh, you're not wrong. It is.
it's because I did it earlier.
Actually, I will drop the article that we reference. How about we do that?
Hey, I mean, you still gotta type some
Yeah.
razzmatazz in there. But while Kenny's writing that up, the new Samsung lineup it was leaked. And as he was mentioning, the individual who linked it, what was it? EV leaks.
Yeah. Evan Blast, but EV Leaks. Yeah.
Yes, MM Blast EV leaks. Very well known for being pretty much right on the money with when it comes to leaks. So what's in the lineup is the foldable Galaxy Z Fold 3 and the Z Flip 3, which they've previously shared pics of back in late June. The Galaxy S21 FE, Samsung's follow up to the solid. Oh, excuse me, sub $700 phone that was glimpsed back in April. The Galaxy Watch 4 and the Watch 4 Classic, which are both smartwatches that were leaked as well. And then the Galaxy Buds 2, which is the latest edition of the company's wireless earbud lineup. So quite a lot of information
Yeah.
that just slid out of their secret Manila folder. Make sure that nobody knows about these so that we can control when we tell people so that our stocks go up at appropriate times. Oops.
I still they got to be leaking it at this point.
At a
Like,
certain point, it's either one of two things. It's either they're doing it themselves for the memes,
for
or
the memes.
probably because your stocks go up a little bit more when it's leaked versus when you say it. Um, which I don't know if that's true or not. That's just entirely speculation from somebody who does not fuck around with stocks. Or it's somebody who's internal who basically just does it whenever dope stuff is happening, and they just don't know who it is, and they take a lot of joy from them not being able to be stopped. So they're like, I'm gonna keep doing this until I get caught.
They're like, oh no, we can't figure out who it is.
It's like, oh man, one of our employees keeps dropping all of our secrets and making our stocks go up.
uh, I will say, so folks. Also, we have photos of the new Samsung laptops on here. If you check out Evan's Twitter, it's a bunch of gifs showing you how the phone's like open and close because of some of the clamshell dual screen tech, which also I guess gives more credence to what you're saying. Like, how did it get access to that?
How'd you get the videos of it? Which is why I assume it's got to be somebody who works there who probably gets access to them. Or maybe they're not really good about internal security or whatever, so they're just throwing stuff in a Google Drive or the company equivalent or something, and everybody's just like, oh, I'm just don't mind if I do.
You didn't block this website? Okay, well, I mean, I almost
Oops.
have to do it because you didn't. Because you didn't block. We're not advocating that you steal from big tech companies. To be clear,
But we
let's
are
see.
saying that it is funny.
It is, however, hilarious. Let me go back for some of the comments real quick before we move on. We got some TikTok news, which I'll dive into. But is it the Sonic? Actually, I'll show it on stream. But is it the Sonic that we need, Commander? Um, no, it's not. But
No.
like we said, that we can get the soundtracks now. So honestly, maybe Sonic Team should just move into just be a studio, like a music studio. And if that was the case, I wouldn't be mad.
They do live shows. There's a couple of recordings of them playing wherever.
I did not know this.
Yep.
You've changed my work. Then Defenders also said, I worked to the Streets of Rage soundtrack on. Um, Fortunately, it's blocked for me. I can't show me
Oh, Spotify.
on Spotify. Dang it!
Hmm.
And then Slide Into the Text sounds like a funk tune. I do not disagree.
It
Uh,
does.
we got
I'm already writing it. Hastily grabs guitar.
And then Taryn's asking, "Are you sliding into check the text DMs?" Wow, Taryn. Wouldn't that be
Slide to the
sliding into your
left.
own DMs?
Slide to the right. It would be sliding into your own DMs,
I was like, how does that work?
which sounds like a euphemism, and I'm sure it is. But for what? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. All right. Wow, that photo's small.
What is this? A photo for ants?
You know what? In this case, yes, it is a photo for ants. So any social media platform that wants to automate their code of conduct or their policy on the website, that's gone swimmingly well. So TikTok is now going to automate the removal of nudity and violent videos on the platform. And this is bad. This is not going to go well.
Nope.
Um,
Wait, Kenny. Before we even get to it, how many times do you think that there's gonna be like some racist thing that happens as a fallout because most of their automated data is trained on non-minorities?
Oh, for sure. Like any black person just moves their hand, it's going to be an assault.
Yep. They're like, oh, yep, you're naked in this. It's like, no, I'm just wearing a brown tracksuit.
Energetic into a mic, auto ban.
Yep.
Um, but if you're a dude and you got your shirt off, you're probably fine. So that's probably gonna be good. Any women's skin though, good luck. Sorry, it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, they'll learn the hard way that you don't automate that.
Yeah. Uber geeky saying they already flag things wrong all the time. Yes, that's why I'm already. And let's be clear, this is talking about TikTok's flagging. We're not even talking about user submitted when people personally are intentionally attacking folks and try to mistag something. We're talking about like just TikTok's internal algorithm already shite, and creators are talking about it all the time. The shadow banning and different things like that. So
Yep.
this is not going to go well.
It's like that the butterfly meme. It's like, is this illegal content?
I mean, honestly, it's going to be the principal. TikTok is Principal Skinner. I was like,
yeah, right. Am I out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
So, no word on exactly when that's going to be rolled out. It's already been. Users have been talking about already seeing that tests happening on the app, along with another function. So. Users will be able to, if you're a TikTok user, you'll be able to pay some of the TikTok creators in their video to cameo in your videos. That's very similar to the paid feature you've seen on Cameo. So if you've used the Cameo service, you've got different celebrities that have put their service out there of like, hey, I will do a clip for you, pay a certain amount, and then you could use that, have them saying the thing that you want them to say. Effectively, TikTok will do the same thing, which is supposed to be different than duetting or like doing a shared video. So difference, like typically in TikTok, you could do like a shared video where I'm going to say things on a video and I'll put pauses there that the other person can use to like clip themselves into it, and then you'll have a complete video that goes out and it's got two creators together. This is not that. This is literally if you want a person to like cameo into your video. So I don't think it's bad per se, because we see features get just like zoop. Hey, I like that feature. Zoop. You see it get pulled into other apps all the time. Just look at Clubhouse, and you've got those functionalities already been added to Discord, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and stuff like that. So this is nothing new. I just literally that TikTok, you're gonna have to change the name though. hopefully you're not actually calling it Cameo. Come on, you can do a little bit better than that.
Yeah. It's like if you're gonna steal the idea straight off of the plate of like another company, you could at least like not call it what their company's called or their application is called, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, when you were describing the like quote unquote cameo feature, it reminded me of like years ago. I can't remember what actor it was, but there was like some like aging I guess action movie actor or whatever, or pseudo action movie actor who recorded a bunch of clips like in a like with a green screen backing of like him like doing different stuff or like saying different lines and doing all this stuff so
Oh,
people so
who
his
was that?
fans could compose their own action movies with him in it.
Oh, who
But I
was
can't
that?
I can see the dude's face in my head, but I
Jean Claude
can't.
Van Damme.
I I think it was Jean Claude Van Damme. That
It
sounds
feels
right.
it feels like it was him.
Yeah, it does. Let me see. John Van Damme
While you're looking at that, I'll go pull
Greens.
up. Let's see. We got a
Yep, it was him. It was him.
JCBD. It's like the Shia LaBeouf green screen. It's like you knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing. In additional TikTok news, which is this has been the TikTok Power Hour here, or Power
Yeah, and it
Minutes.
was last week too because they had just made that announcement that they were gonna. No. Well, that was Instagram. My mistake. I
It
was
was
gonna say
Instagram.
last week.
Oh, the
Um,
video.
yeah,
So
they
Instagram.
were like
Oh, we have the
we're not an image website anymore, a picture
right.
sharing website. We're a entertainment tool or whatever.
And then last week, TikTok was talking about the 3 minute video. That's what it was.
Yes, that's what it
Uh,
was.
so now the app has a new hiring feature. And at first, when I read it, I thought, oh, you want to work with TikTok and you can submit a video resume. And that is potentially a thing you could do to TikTok. But what this is they're launching a new program of dozen of companies like the Detroit Pistons to target to allow their users to apply for jobs through TikTok videos.
Hmm.
Applicants will have until July 31st to apply for the first set of jobs posted on the platform, and you can check it out by visiting TikTok's official job marketplace. So you can still submit it for the app, but you'll need to check on the marketplace first for how to like what the offerings are, and then you could tag. What I understand is you could tag their official account to submit that. Um, I don't know. This is kind of an interesting. I feel like there's some issues though. Um, let me say the positives. Um, Interviews are stressful. I think we're all aware of that. So depending on what that company may be looking for, like if you are looking for a certain type of personality to shine through, this gives a person a like. While there is pressure to shoot yourself, like as far as like be like lighting and make sure you get that right on the cell phone, but like generally like you might be in a less pressure. Like, hey, it's in your room. You're not going to some offices. Like you can do it in your room. So I think that could be really cool and just relieve some stress off of people. But what I couldn't tell is how public are these interviews. So
Hmm.
think that could be like, is there a cool factor there? Yeah, but I could also see like some external pressure of like, man, that wasn't good. That was not good. I don't know why you thought that was. I don't know why you thought that was good. And then two, um, I don't know if you know this, but certain names can get kicked out of uh, job applications. So if they hear a particular name, they just kind of
Yeet you into the ether.
yeah. She's like your resume never makes it to um, the hiring manager, or never makes it to that person that makes that final decision because they're just like their prejudice uh, cuts that out.
Hmm.
I can't imagine that being better if you can already see what the person looks like.
Yeah.
So there's some people I think that'll be great for that and be amazing and be like, yeah, you're a person like and really focus on the personality or like what they're talking, cool. But mm, I just think it's rife with issues. I'll stop for a moment. Let you chime
Yeah.
in there.
I feel like there's a lot that can be good with video interviews. Um, maybe they're faster. Maybe it allows you to view more people who are like good potential hirees or whatever. I feel like the expectations from a video resume will be different. And there are likely there's no protocol whatsoever for what does a good video resume look like, because this is something that we don't usually engage in culturally, and it's one of those things where the technology advances faster than we can create cultural norms for it. So it's straight up just going to be to the up to the person of whoever watches your thing. So there, and for me, like when I think of video stuff. So earlier this year, excuse me, I was one of the judges for my alma mater's senior design work, and all of that was online. And like, nor they give their senior design presentation and all that stuff. And a when I see an interview done or a presentation done in person, there's way more leeway that I give you, because like you have to be up there, so you got to do stuff like there's gimmicks you can do, like, oh, I need to take a break, or I'm getting anxious and I'm running out of breath, let me take a drink of water, blah blah blah. When it's a digital presentation, and this applies for interviews as well, my expectation goes from I want it to be pretty good to I want it to be like immaculate,
Mhm.
because you have the magic of cinema and editing. So if you're doing anything where you're like, I like to do this kind of stuff, and if you're doing that kind of stuff, like if you're in person, like I understand, like your brain farts, you got to keep the ball rolling. I'm gonna be like, oh, it happens. But if you're recording a video, I'm like, you should have did it over. Like you should have kept doing it over until you nailed it. And like and is that fair? I don't know, but that's what I do. And I feel like it presents a whole nother realm of people to eliminate folks for reasons that possibly don't matter. I'm not saying that my way is the right way. And
Right.
possibly none of that matters. So what if you stutter in an interview, or you stutter in a presentation or whatever? Like, in real life or in meet space, I'd only dock you 1 point, but in a video where you could have recorded it over and over and over again, I'll dock you 10 points.
Mhm.
But is that fair? And I feel like people are going to do that, because there is no protocol, or there's no widely accepted protocol for if you're hiring a target, how do you consume digital resumes and judge them alongside physical people who come in? Mm.
Uh, I'm gonna show a comment on screen. Uber geeky. It's like LinkedIn adding the option to add a 30-second video to your profile. Yeah, I definitely agree, but I still think that can keep, like, the bias could still be there. So like
Mm.
if a hiring manager sees your LinkedIn profile, which is another thing to keep in mind too, is like, even if it wasn't TikTok, if you have this video option on LinkedIn, they can now see your photo in a way they wouldn't have seen it before. You could add this video in a way that it wasn't seen before, and that bias could also still like seep in there in that way. So yeah, good point on that. So it's not necessarily the first time, but this is someone asking directly. You can submit
Hmm.
your resume through this video. So I think that's a little bit different, but yeah, good mention on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Um,
and I feel like with LinkedIn, because it's sorry, not with LinkedIn, but with TikTok, because it's not a tool like LinkedIn. Like they don't have that like association of like, oh, obviously this is a good tool to use for this. Like if for example, because Uber Geeky you brought up LinkedIn, like if somebody was like, oh yeah, you can do video interviews or whatever on LinkedIn, I'm like, that's a great feature. Like that makes so much sense or whatever. Or not even that's a great feature, but that makes so much sense for a business application, whatever, like LinkedIn to do. Whereas to utter the same sentence with TikTok, as somebody who doesn't use TikTok and has biases against TikTok and the young people, um,
uh,
I don't know
yeah,
why do it through TikTok? Why should I do it through TikTok? Is would be the
there's a
question.
couple different ways. Now the more I'm thinking about it, there's a couple different ways this could swing. Um, yeah, there could be some ageism happening there in
Hmm.
the you yeah, there could be in different ways
Yeah,
there.
like
Uh,
I can say not necessarily with certainty, but I feel like most of the people that I work with would never even know that we took applications through TikTok. Like you would never be seen because we don't even know that you submitted a job application.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to show Uber Geeky again because I wonder if not
Yep,
having
yep.
a video is going to be seen as a negative.
Eventually,
Yeah.
I think it will be. And will the people like me in 50 years who were like, I refuse to submit a video for my interviews, are gonna be having a be struggling Duglin, having a bad time. But no, like in all seriousness, I think it will be like it very well could shift the cultural norm that people will be like, why would I write a whole resume or whatever specifically to each company when I can just sit there, talk about myself for 5 to 10 minutes, and then submit it away, and then do the same thing and submit it away, and do the same thing and submit it away. It's like, oh, why do you want to work for Outward Outfitters? Oh, I want to work for blah blah blah. Why do you want to work for Best Buy? Boom, blah blah blah. Like there's a lot of positive reasons to it, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of cultural pushback against that kind of against consuming resumes that way, but also
Mhm.
submitting them that way. So real good points, Uber Geeky. Um, yep, and this is also what I was thinking. I was going to get to it in a moment. People without good tech to take videos will end up with a disadvantage because looking at just we've been around for a long time. You can like people who were around when YouTube first came out. We remember what those videos looked like. It
Like
was
a
like
lot of the pandemic videos right now.
it's like that
Um,
was way early back when it was like most video editing software that most people probably had access to was probably iMovie. All you really needed was a Canon camera and an Apple computer and a Dream, or a
oh
library,
yeah.
or access to the library or something, and you could make videos that people, regardless of the quality, were very comfortable and happy to watch. But if you don't have nowadays, it's like we're spoiled by what the average content creator can generate, and if you don't have a 4K camera, and you don't have one of those like big spotlights, and you don't have multiple camera angles and all this stuff, and a cool background looking at you, Kenny, if you don't have some of those things, then it's like then your content doesn't pop off, and that expectation does seep into the expectations of other qualities of video, and it
Oh
might
yeah.
not if we had a cultural expectation for what to expect from a video resume, but we don't. So people are going to go in, and there's going to be people who are like, oh, let me show off my editing skills and my video, blah blah blah, and they can make these videos that pop, and other people who are just going to be like me, who set up their camera, and they're like, oh, hi, I'm so and so, and I like memes and playing video games, you should hire me because I'm cool or whatever. And that's what you're gonna get for a lot of people. And they're gonna go, oh well, this person knows so much about video editing, and it looks really cool, and they present themselves really well and really put their
Mhm.
best foot forward. So I'm gonna go with them.
Like, um, the one thing, yeah, I feel like because I don't disagree with you on the content creator issue there because I've had to stop myself from getting caught up in it because me and Tom shot our whole Fast and Furious thing. We shot it all in 4K. Now, granted, there were
Hmm.
some technical issues. There actually were some technical issues because the camera was bugging out to let us go
Hmm.
down in quality. It just did not want us to do that. So we actually were like, but I want to do 1080p. It's like, no.
It's like nope.
I'm like, what? But to your like, but yeah, but there, I feel like there's audio is always going to be that thing with video, even though so
Hmm.
many people focus on the video quality. It's like, make sure your audio is good. And I promise if it's like a 720p video, you will be okay. Um, and I think the pandemic has shown that like there's so many productions like the late night shows that have been doing it out of their houses and like different setups that aren't their typical 4K TV cameras that they have in the studio. It's like
Hmm.
we can in those spaces accept like some drop down in quality. But to your point, it's like because it's a resume and because it's supposed to be your best foot forward,
Hmm.
are people going to think those same things? And I would agree. I don't know if they will.
Yeah.
And that might be
And
the thing we got to push people on is like, if you want to do video interviews or do video resumes, cool, but think about the quality you see on the TikTok videos. you know,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of those are great, but they're not necessarily like cinematic qualities. Like think about some of the quality, even with the great things that are happening on YouTube. It's like still think about some of the quality and things that come out there, and
Mm-hmm.
don't hold them to having a 4K red camera to shoot some who was saying Uber Geek was saying people might offer to edit resume videos. I bet someone's gonna rent a red camera that they don't have any idea how to use to
Yep.
shoot a resume video and be like in for the nightmare of their life. Please don't do that. Please, please, I'm begging you, because I know someone's gonna do it. Don't buy a expensive camera. Don't rent an expensive camera to shoot a resume video. If you have an iPhone, if you have a Galaxy, most modern cell phones, you'll be okay. And if you don't have access to that, ask a friend. Gosh, this is a longer tech question. We might have to come back to this. We'll have to report on this another time.
Yeah, there's a lot to say here. There's a lot of. It's mostly cultural. It's mostly cultural. It's not so much about the tech. It's about the implications of the culture of the tech and the culture.
Yeah. Cool. You
Uh,
want to tackle Microsoft?
as soon as I find my notes, because I keep moving them around. Let's see. Here we go. Bam. All right. All right. Have you updated your Microsoft computer recently? Because if you shouldn't, you should. Microsoft has been urging their users to update their computer immediate, like, yo. Um,
Yesterday.
Pretty much. So they found a serious vulnerability in the OS. Researchers found a vulnerability in Print Spooler, which is a application that allows multiple users to access the same printer. Um, they had published a document on that was meant to be internal from what the way I understand it. It was a document on how do you exercise this exploit, and they accidentally posted it online, and they got taken down, but somebody copied it
But not before.
and they posted it to GitHub, so now everybody knows. Um, so yeah, basically, there's a vulnerability with some printer-based software. The affected versions include Windows 10 and Windows 7. And an update for Windows 7 has already been rolled out, in spite of the fact that Windows 7 is no longer getting updates. So, to give you an idea of what the severity of the exploit is, Microsoft said, you know what, we have too many Windows 7 machines that are still out there, too many folks who are running Windows 7. We don't support this anymore, but we have to fix this. So it got an update.
Wow.
That's how important it is.
I thought they're gonna be like, what?
Nah, they covered
Update?
that base. So what can happen with this issue? So the long and short of it is, if a hacker or some malicious person is able to get into your machine through this means, they can do stuff like install or remove programs. They can create new accounts, which essentially means that it's like a complete, like it's basically root access to your machine. If they can make an account, then they can do anything. An account with admin privileges, to be specific. So they can do everything that you can do. So it's real important that if you've been getting, yo, you should update, my dude. Like, it's real important that this time you listen to it and you actually do that update ASAP. The update for Windows 7 is already going out. There's an update for Windows 11, which supposedly is not at risk for this, but they're covering their bases anyway. That one's already out, and there's an update for Windows 10 that's on the way. So that's what the word is.
But
Keep
who
it near
needs
to
a
the
Windows
ground.
11 update? We don't get it yet. The Windows
Like,
10 should come out first, or maybe they already had the Windows. Maybe is that also possible that just already when they found it, they were already working on that fix for 11, and that's why it was already.
I don't know. The article that mentions it doesn't go into like the details of nitty gritty of how they're doing it. But it might be one thing of like it's a very low hanging fruit for Windows 7, very low hanging fruit for Windows 11, but maybe a little bit out of reach for Windows 10. So it's like, get those other two out the door as soon as you can, and then we'll focus full steam ahead on 10 and get that out of the door as soon as we can. But yeah, critically important if you're rocking Windows OS, take that update. Very, 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 very important. Um, and we got one more news story, I believe. Or
Ransomware.
yeah, so White House is set to tackle ransomware issues. Here we go. So over the long holiday weekend, a Russia-based cybercrime outfit called R Evil. I think that's how I'm assuming that's how they probably say it.
Evil.
Revel,
I
R
just keep
Evil.
thinking it's a Resident Evil thing that I just didn't know.
I feel like it is. I feel like it is. But they claim responsibility for infiltrating a network monitoring tool that's created by a company called Cassia or Kessia. Not sure because it's Russian based, maybe. And I'm not sure how consonants and vowel sounds work when you translate.
Vartan, if
Um,
you're available for translation, we would appreciate it.
There you go. But yeah, they took a bunch of hostage files belonging to somewhere between 800 and 1,500 small and medium-sized businesses throughout U.S., Asia, and Europe, and demanded somewhere in the magnitude of $70 million to unlock them all. Additionally, they took advantage of some previously undisclosed vulnerabilities in their Kessia's monitoring software. So rather than like messing around with old issues that are already known but maybe not fully patched, like they were working through means that people don't know about. So they were either speculation, are either working through somebody who knows the system very well, or they were able to find their own holes on their own. And either could be very likely. The White House has already broadly laid out like its main avenues that it wants to address the threat, including disrupting the ransomware infrastructure and operators that are working more closely with the private sector, partnering with other allies to try and crack down on those types of things. Some of those kind of things are already on the way. For example, the Justice Department's new ransomware task force recently seized a large portion of about $4.5 million ransom from Colonial Pipeline Company in May, which ultimately got the hacking group to shut down. But not everything's like super easily tracked. And like other parts of that is Biden putting pressure on Russia to crack down on these Russian hacking groups, which is contentious to say the least. And he kind of puts it on them that they need to be responsible to take action against these criminals who exist in their country who are doing these kind of things. That
Whether that's going to happen, I don't
yeah,
know.
that basically sounds like, hey man, can you like deal with this? And that to me that feels like, yeah man, I'm working on it, and then you just don't do anything. As far as President Biden, while he told reporters on Tuesday that the government is still determining the origin of that ransom attack, the Cassia ransom attack, the claim of responsibility from R Evil has prompted some of the lawmakers and cybersecurity experts to call on Biden to have a more forceful response than just kind of putting pressure on Russia. And there's a quote from him reading, if the latest attack was indeed launched at least in part from Russia, then Biden's own strategy demands that he take action, wrote Dmitry A., who's the former chief of technology officer at the cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike. So, experts in the field are demanding, like, this isn't going to be a thing that's just going to go away just because you want it to go away. Like, you have to do something about it. I understand he's in a tight spot because, the internet is as free for everyone as it is for anyone. So, what do you do? These are small to mid-sized businesses. The larger businesses probably can afford to buy teams of people for this kind of thing. We live in a prophylactic society where we can't necessarily stop bad things from happening to you, but we can dole out consequences once they do occur. So what's the plan? Is it that we just say, well, we can't stop them, but what we can do is make sure that we take care of people when these things do occur, and we make sure that
Yeah.
they're properly compensated, and their financial lives aren't ruined, especially because small to mid-sized business, like what's the phrase? It's like any small business is 2 bad months away from closing up shop.
Yeah. Very
is the
true.
way that the phrase goes. So it's like, somebody basically, phantoming their way like deep into your pocket and just taking everything that's out there. That's two bad months that happened like that. So what's the solution? There's potentially several, but you gotta be real firm about one. So I understand what is a real hard spot to be in, because I don't have any immediate thoughts of like, oh, just do this. Like nothing comes to mind. It's tough.
We're also at a disadvantage in the states that different countries, they're it's not. I wouldn't say this like not that our younger computer force doesn't have pride in their country, but generally that doesn't translate to wanting to help the government fix tech issues. Doesn't mean we don't have smart cybersecurity experts that will help, but you just don't have that youth base.
Hmm.
Whereas in Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, their teenage hackers are given green light to attack the U.S., which is a thing I don't think gets talked about, and they just don't like us. And I don't
Yeah.
mean that in a like there's more to that. I'm being very broad in that sense, but it's not a hard sell to say, hey, help your country out and go hit on these guys for a little bit. Or if you are do get into if you do make your own internet organization and that country gives you like the wink wink nod nod of like, hey, you leave us alone and you go over here and you mess with them, we won't say anything. And we just don't have that. We just don't have that here. So and it's like, think about it, the U.S. trying to go out and defend ourselves from all of that, whereas there might be some cross attacks, right? But it's not really going
It's
across.
not in the same
Yeah,
magnitude.
yeah,
If it exists, it's not in the same magnitude. Yeah, I would agree with that to a point. Um, we're laws here are probably not so, or laws and culture here are probably so much not in your favor if you're a black hat hacker who chooses to steal money from anybody anywhere in the world. Like if they catch wind of it in the US, like you're going down. Like
yeah,
it might not be tomorrow, but it's probably going to be soon.
yeah, yeah.
Whereas I'll admit I don't know what the culture is like in other countries for how for on the real, like how is that treated? There's the occasional story that goes about here and there, but like I have no idea. So when like Kenny said, like if there is any sort of laxness towards cybercrime in a particular country, like there might not be somebody knocking on your door today or next week or next month or in the next year.
Yeah.
Even if they know that you're doing it, they might be like, all right, well, we got a whole bunch of physical crimes to deal with. So until we get external pressure, you know, that's it's going to be what it is. So
And again, I'm giving that in very broad strokes because there's a lot more to it. Y'all should definitely read up on that. And if there's I could probably think of one or two things that you could read, but um, also we also just don't have access to the information that they do over there, depending on what country we're talking about. So some of this is known pretty well, some of it's speculative as well.